Welcome to this presentation. My name is Gerald Chikukwa, and we're going to be talking about the ENISA Threat Landscape Report for 2017. Here's the table of contents. What we'll be talking about. We'll be talking about ENISA, the 2017 report, and in that report, it talks about malware. It talks about web-based attacks, web application attacks, phishing, spam, denial of services, ransomware, botnets, insider threat, physical manipulation, data breaches, identity theft, information leakage, exploit kits, and cyber espionage. So the report is all encompassing. It talks about all the uh, threats that were found in 2017 and the different trends that it has. So the ENISA threat landscape report, talks about the top 15 cybersecurity threats and their trends in 2017. It also assessed cyber threats trends based on if they increased, declined, or were stable. And the report gives us all the top 15 cyber threat trends that were found in 2017. So as we can see that malware is the number one cyber threat of 2017, and it has constantly evolved over time. So we see more of malware attacks nowadays, and the top infection channels of malware, email attachments, web drive-by, email with malicious URL, and also malware is evolved in such a way that it's now using clickless infections and fileless attacks. On the other hand, attacks are targeting already installed tools, for example, PS, PSX, and WMI, and also the number two cyber threat report are best web-based attacks. So as we said, the number two is web-based attacks, and these attacks basically they have increased in volume and have a strong impact, and they're also known for malware installation. They're also known as a malware installation vector. It is projected that by it is projected that number of web attacks will continue to increase. Most common infected web pages or web applications would be developed in WordPress, Joomla, Magneto, and in some cases, some of the vulnerable web browsers would be some version of you know Internet Explorer, Chrome, Safari, and Mozilla Firefox. So as we go to web application attacks are actually becoming increasing overly. Uh, in the report, we see that they're considerably due to applications that are vulnerable. Most web application attacks methods, FLI, XQLI, cross-site scripting, remote file inclusion, PHP injection. Web application attacks are a major threat to organizational security. And on the fourth position on the report is phishing. Phishing has evolved over time, and the attackers are actually coming up with different ways to generate their messages and techniques to utilize to target who they need to reach. So phishing is also on the increase in 2017, and most types of phishing utilize documents like documents, executables, SRCs, Excel, bin extensions, and phishing has become a way of actually spreading malware as well. Spam. Spam is also known for as a transport as a carrier for malware and malicious URLs. There has been spam botnet activities going on, with Neckers botnet and the Kalos botnet, and also ransomware is also spread via spamware or spam. And then we go to the sixth place, and that's where the denial of service is. Um, it is actually two places down from the 2016 report. Uh, the change in placement does not translate to a decrease. DOS is still on the increase for 2017. The DOS has been used to weaponize to be has been used as a weapon by criminals for extortion, service and infrastructure takedowns and data breaches. Ransomware is found on the 17th spot in this report, and is the first to be used by cyber criminals for monetization. It is shown an improvement increase in 2017, showing growth in number of campaigns, victims, ransom paid, and depth of damage. And the introduction of botnets has been happening from probably around 26 earlier than before 2016. It has been botnets have been taking part in all these cyber crimes. So botnets are on the eighth place with an overall increase from previous year 2016. In 2017, IoT botnet infected millions of networks. IoT botnets were also used for DDoS attacks. Narcos infected 1.5 million computers in 2017 and was the most talked about. So we see that botnets, they're becoming weaponized uh, using IoT devices, and they're becoming more you know dangerous in that although they were already being used, but now they're more weaponized because they're targeting IoT devices which have less security and stuff. Insider threat. Insider threat is on the rise, and insider breaches are top security concerns. Uh, Insider breaches are difficult to detect and protect. They might take months or years. The INSA report of 2017, the following vulnerabilities threat. The following is vulnerable to insider threat, which are databases, file servers, mobile devices, endpoints. What type of endpoints we're talking about? Computers and different devices on the network, business applications, network, cloud applications, uh, cloud infrastructure. Insider threat was placed on number 9 on the report. Physical manipulation. Physical manipulation. It is the main reason for data breaches, information leakage, device loss. Data breaches are on the 11th place, which are successful compromise of confidential information. They are increasingly growing, and they have doubled since 2014, which had many breaches. Attack vectors for most attack vectors for most data breaches are XGO injection and phishing and so on. Data breaches. Data breaches are on the 11th spot in this report. which is a successful compromise of confidential information. They're increasingly growing and they've doubled since 2014, which had many data breaches. And most attack vectors for data breaches are SQL injection, phishing, and so on. Identity theft. Identity theft was the 12th. Identity theft on its own can result in successful cyber attacks which target identity information. The information includes names, addresses, contact information, credentials, financial data, and health data and logs, different logs. So identity theft really on its own it's not harmful unless it's used as a cyber attack. Information leakage. Information leakage it's an attack of runtime systems, components configuration, programming mistakes, and user behavior. Information leakage can be utilized to do more cybercrimes by having leaked data as input to other threats. Commonly targeted information leakage are commonly targeted for information leakages are SSL, TSL protocols, uh, network communication, virtual currencies. So this is a way of manipulating systems to leak information. Exploits, exploit kits, exploit kits, exploit kits. On the fourth position, they have been a major and most successful tool used for malware installation. Exploit exploit kits are used to install payloads on victim devices given the vulnerabilities on the victim's machine. So the most, some of the most common exploit kits we've been, deployed on, like Microsoft, Word, Excel, PDF, Adobe PDF, and all that stuff. So those, for example, in Word, those exploit kits they used to to trigger some macros and so on. So yeah, that's one of those exploits. Cyber espionage is on the fourth place. On the 15th place, it has been a third most common motive for performed attacks. So in most cases, the people, you know, have different motives to for attack. Some people they do it as activists. Some people do it for monetary purposes. Some people just do it to disrupt, you know, systems, and those would be under cyber espionage. And this report um, gives us an overview of what is taking place, what is taking place in the cyber world, and that's all. Thank you.